For decades, we were told the same thing. Fruit is nature's candy, a guilt-free pleasure, full of vitamins and good intentions. Doctors praised it, magazines listed it, and we, trusting as we were, filled our baskets with bananas, grapes, apples, whatever looked ripe and sweet. It felt like a gift we didn't need to question. Especially as we aged, fruit remained one of the few foods that still felt light, innocent, and good for us. But something changed, quietly, without warning. You might not have noticed at first. Maybe it was a stubborn belly that wouldn't shrink no matter how many walks you took. Maybe it was that slow, creeping tiredness after breakfast, or the quiet frustration of seeing your weight stuck, even though you were eating clean. For many over 70, this confusion turns into shame. Am I doing something wrong? Why isn't my body responding like it used to? Here's the truth. The fruit you're eating today isn't the same fruit you grew up with. Modern farming has turned many fruits into sugar bombs, not by adding anything artificial, but by carefully selecting and breeding the sweetest varieties year after year. That crisp apple in your hand? It might have more sugar than a glazed donut. That perfectly ripe banana? It's not just a snack anymore, it's a glucose spike waiting to happen. And the aging body doesn't handle sugar like it once did. When we were younger, our metabolism could burn through it. Our muscle mass was higher, our insulin more responsive. But after 60, especially after 70, your body becomes more sensitive. Your pancreas tires. Your cells become resistant. And the sugar that once gave you energy now lingers and settles, usually right around your belly. It's not about blame. You didn't do anything wrong. You trusted what felt right, what everyone said was right. But when health advice stays the same and bodies change, we get left behind, stuck in habits that no longer serve us. What's worse? No one tells you this. No one tells you that your morning bowl of fruit, the one you've eaten for years, might now be working against you, because fruit still wears that halo of health. And for older adults trying to lose weight, that halo becomes a trap. This realization isn't about fear. It's about freedom. Because once you understand how your body processes food now, you can make choices that truly help you. You don't have to cut out everything, but you do have to see clearly. And it starts by asking a simple, quiet question. Is this still right for me? That's where real change begins. When we stop eating based on old beliefs and start listening to what our bodies are actually saying. You sit down for a quiet moment. A small plate of sliced pears, maybe a few grapes, just enough to satisfy that gentle hunger between meals. It feels light, harmless. But not long after, there it is again. That familiar tightness in your belly. A slow bloat, an invisible weight that seems to swell quietly under your shirt. You didn't overeat. So why does your stomach feel like you did? It's not your imagination. And it's not age playing tricks. What you're feeling is very real. And it starts with how fruit sugars behave differently inside a body that's changed with time. Most fruits contain something called fructose. It's a natural sugar, yes, but natural doesn't mean neutral. In younger bodies, fructose is absorbed with the help of fast, efficient digestion. But in older adults, digestion slows, and enzymes don't work quite like they used to. The result? That light snack lingers. And when fruit sugars ferment in your gut, they produce gas, bloating, discomfort, a sensation that can make you feel heavier than you are, but it goes deeper. When you eat fruit alone, especially high fructose ones like watermelon or grapes, your blood sugar can rise sharply, even if the fruit is fresh and unprocessed. Your body, trying to protect you, releases insulin to bring sugar levels back down. But here's the twist. After 70, insulin doesn't work as efficiently. Your cells resist its efforts. The sugar stays longer in your bloodstream, and your pancreas works harder just to maintain balance. That sugar doesn't just vanish. Much of it ends up being stored. And where does it settle first? The belly. That soft ring around your waist isn't always from eating too much. It can be from eating the wrong things at the wrong time. Even things that look innocent. Especially things that look innocent. So now, fruit becomes a paradox. Something you've always trusted suddenly becomes the reason you feel uncomfortable in your own skin. That discomfort, the bloating, the fatigue, the slight sadness you feel after eating something you once enjoyed, can quietly chip away at your motivation to change. You start thinking, if even fruit is bad, what's left? But this isn't about giving up. It's about getting smarter. Knowing which fruits to eat, when, and how to pair them can make all the difference. Add a handful of nuts to slow digestion. Combine fruit with protein to prevent spikes. Or simply swap certain fruits for lower sugar options that your body will thank you for. You're not broken. You're adapting. And the more you understand the silent reactions happening inside, the more empowered you'll feel every time you choose what goes on your plate. There was a time when a banana was the perfect snack. It fit in your hand, didn't need washing, and gave you that quick sense of fullness without guilt. Maybe you used to grab one before a walk, or slice it into your cereal in the morning. It was sweet, satisfying, and, back then, safe. But you've probably noticed something lately. After eating a banana, your stomach feels heavier. You get sleepy instead of energized. Your weight, especially around your middle, just won't budge. What changed? Not you. Not completely, at least. What changed is the banana itself. Over the past several decades, the bananas in supermarkets have been selectively bred for maximum sweetness. The Cavendish variety, the one you likely eat, has nearly double the sugar content of the bananas our parents grew up with. But that's only part of the story, because your body also changed, slowly, gently, but meaningfully. As you age, muscle mass decreases and your metabolism slows. What your body once burned with ease now lingers. And insulin, the hormone that processes sugar, becomes less responsive. So when you eat a banana today, your blood sugar rises quickly. Your pancreas scrambles to respond. And when that sugar isn't burned off, say because you're sitting after breakfast, it's stored as fat, right around your waistline. And it's not just the sugar. Bananas are also high in resistant starch when underripe, which can cause bloating. When ripe, they become mostly sugar. In both cases, they can lead to digestive discomfort and fat retention, especially in older adults. It's confusing, isn't it? The very thing you believed was healthy is now part of what's holding you back. It feels almost like a betrayal, and it leads many older adults to wonder if their efforts are pointless. If even a banana is a problem, what can I eat? That frustration is real, but the answer isn't to fear fruit, it's to understand it. Knowing how your body reacts now lets you reclaim control. Start by noticing patterns. How do you feel 30 minutes after eating a banana? 2 hours later? How's your energy, your digestion? If the answer is sluggish, bloated, or hungry again too soon, that fruit might not be serving you anymore. There are alternatives. Fruits with lower sugar and higher fiber, like berries, are often better tolerated. Pairing fruit with fat or protein, like almond butter or yogurt, can also slow absorption and reduce insulin spikes. Have you noticed this shift? Have you ever felt that something you used to eat just doesn't sit right anymore? Tell me in the comments. You're not alone in this. And your body is still capable of change, especially when you listen to what it's been trying to tell you all along. It looks beautiful. A bowl of colors, melons, grapes, pineapple, maybe a few slices of kiwi. It feels like celebration, light, refreshing, and guilt-free. You prepare it for guests. You reach for it when you want to feel like you're doing something good for yourself. But here's a truth no one talks about. That cheerful fruit salad might be doing the opposite of what you hope. When you mix several fruits in one bowl, especially the ones considered high glycemic, you're combining different sugars and acidities in ways that overwhelm an aging digestive system. Each fruit brings its own load of fructose, glucose, and even sorbitol. Natural sugars, yes, but sugars that still require precise hormonal coordination to process properly. And after 70, that coordination doesn't always happen the way it used to. Your pancreas, already working harder, now faces a flood of mixed sugars. Your insulin spikes to meet the demand, but it's slower, less efficient. What isn't used for energy gets tucked away, again, around the waistline, where belly fat grows silently. Not because you ate too much, but because your body couldn't keep up. Even worse, When fruits like pineapple or watermelon are combined with others, they can ferment faster in the gut. That fermentation produces gas, bloating, and for many, quiet inflammation that they chalk up to just getting older. It's not just about the sugar, it's about the speed. When multiple fruits hit your system at once, especially without fiber, fat, or protein to slow things down, your blood sugar rises rapidly. Then it crashes. And with that crash comes fatigue, hunger, and the temptation to snack again, creating a cycle that feels impossible to break. But there's a simple shift that changes everything. Instead of mixing 5 fruits together, choose just one. One fruit your body tolerates well. Eat it slowly, maybe with a handful of walnuts or a bit of Greek yogurt. This small change slows digestion, balances your energy, and helps your body actually use the nutrients rather than store them. There's no shame in not knowing. We were never told these things. Fruit salad was supposed to be safe, and the idea of it still brings comfort. But the body speaks louder than memories, and it's telling you something important now. This isn't about denying yourself joy. It's about rediscovering joy that doesn't leave you feeling worse an hour later. The kind of joy that brings clarity, comfort, and maybe even a smaller waistline with every bite. It starts innocently enough. You wake up, open the blinds, and reach for something light. A few slices of melon, half a banana, maybe a glass of orange juice, just like you did for years. You want to be gentle with your body, nothing heavy, nothing greasy. You've been told that fruit in the morning is the healthiest way to begin the day. But that habit, especially when you're over 70, could be the very reason your belly feels softer, rounder, and more stubborn than ever. Here's why. When you eat fruit alone in the morning, your body is in its most sensitive metabolic state. After a night of fasting, your blood sugar is low. Your cells are ready to absorb whatever comes first. And if the first thing is a high-sugar fruit with little to no fat or protein to slow absorption, your blood sugar spikes dramatically. Your pancreas scrambles to release insulin. And in older adults, that insulin doesn't act as efficiently. The result? Excess sugar gets stored, quickly. And where does it go first? Around your midsection. That morning, sweetness gets tucked away as belly fat before your body even knows what happened. It's not just about weight. That sugar spike sets the tone for the entire day. After fruit alone, your blood sugar drops again within hours. You get tired. You get hungry. You reach for another snack. And the cycle continues. Spikes and crashes, cravings and fatigue. All because your day began with something that seemed harmless. This is not your fault. You were following advice that made sense when your metabolism was faster, your insulin more responsive, your digestion more resilient, but your body has changed. And now, it needs a different kind of morning kindness. So what can you do? Start by pairing fruit with a source of healthy fat or protein. A few slices of apple with peanut butter, berries with cottage cheese, half a banana with a boiled egg on the side. These combinations do more than fill you up. They keep your blood sugar steady, your energy lasts, your cravings fade, and your waistline begins to respond, slowly but surely. Even better? Consider eating a savory breakfast first, like eggs, avocado, or oats with seeds, and saving your fruit for later as a small dessert. Your body will be better equipped to handle the sugar once it's had something substantial. This isn't about cutting out joy. It's about rethinking what joy looks like now. You can still have sweetness, but in a way that your body understands and welcomes. And that small change? It might be the difference between waking up tired and waking up feeling in control, between a waistline that resists and one that finally softens, not from restriction, but from wisdom. It was a symbol of health. A glass of orange juice on the breakfast table meant you were doing something right. It felt clean, natural, and full of life. Parents poured it for their kids. Doctors didn't object, and for years we drank it with pride, believing every sip was strengthening us. But here's what no one told you. Once fruit becomes juice, it stops behaving like food and starts behaving like sugar. Even if it's 100% pure with no added sweeteners, fruit juice is missing one crucial element, fiber. That fiber in whole fruit slows down how sugar enters your bloodstream. Without it, Juice hits your system like a wave, a flood of fructose all at once. And for an older body, that flood is overwhelming. When you drink a glass of juice, you're consuming the sugar of 3 to 5 fruits in minutes, without the bulk, without the chewing, and without the chance for your brain to say, "I'm full." Your pancreas reacts instantly, pushing out insulin to manage the spike. But your cells, slower now, often don't respond well. The sugar lingers in the blood, and then it stores, most often as visceral fat, deep belly fat that wraps around your organs and makes weight loss even harder. And that's not the only risk. Fructose from juice doesn't just raise blood sugar, it heads straight to your liver. Over time, that buildup can lead to fatty liver disease, a condition that's becoming more common in seniors, even those who don't drink alcohol. That morning glass of orange juice you thought was helping, it might be quietly working against your health. But no one told you this, because juice still wears that glow of wholesomeness. It still feels comforting, familiar, and in many ways it connects us to a time when choices were simpler. The truth isn't meant to shame, it's meant to free. If you love fruit, eat it whole. Feel its texture. Let your body digest it slowly, as it was meant to. And if you miss juice, try infusing water with citrus slices or blending whole fruit into a smoothie with fiber-rich seeds and greens. That way, your blood sugar stays balanced and your liver isn't overwhelmed. It's not about giving up traditions. It's about updating them with wisdom. Your body is still on your side, but it needs you to choose with clarity, not nostalgia. That simple change from juice to real food could be the quiet shift that finally brings your energy back, your belly in, and your trust in your own choices restored. There's a phrase that carries weight, especially for those of us who grew up trusting in simpler times. But it's natural. We say it with a kind of quiet confidence, believing that if something comes from the earth, it must be good, safe, better than anything processed or packaged. But that trust, while beautiful, is sometimes misplaced, especially when it comes to the food we call natural, because natural doesn't always mean harmless, especially not when it's fruit. Modern fruit, though grown from the ground, has been selectively bred over decades to satisfy one craving above all else: sweetness. The apples you eat today aren't the apples your grandfather picked. The strawberries, the grapes, the oranges. They've all been transformed not through chemicals, but through generations of cultivation designed to make them sweeter, juicier, and more appealing to the modern palate. And sweetness, even natural, still means sugar. Fructose, the main sugar in fruit, is natural, yes. But inside a body over 70, it behaves just like any other sugar. It spikes blood sugar. It triggers insulin. It encourages fat storage. It tires your pancreas, and it fuels that slow, frustrating accumulation of belly fat that seems to defy every walk, every salad, every act of self-care you've tried. It's not the fruit's fault, and it's certainly not yours. You've been kind. You've chosen what felt right. But what no one said is that sometimes our loyalty to what we believe is healthy can quietly hold us back. The very foods you cling to for security might be the ones adding inches to your waist and heaviness to your heart. That's the emotional trap of natural. It convinces us that if something is pure, we shouldn't question it. But aging bodies need different truths. A fruit that energized you at 40 may now leave you bloated and tired. A juice that made you feel fresh might now leave your liver working overtime. And this isn't about guilt. It's about growth. When you stop assuming natural equals helpful, you open space for something more powerful: discernment. You start listening not just to labels, but to how your body responds. You begin choosing not based on memory or marketing, but on lived experience. That is wisdom. That is health. And in that quiet shift, from blind trust to intentional care, you reclaim something vital: the right to change your habits, even the ones you once loved, in the name of something greater. Not because fruit is bad, but because you finally understand what's truly good for you. There's a moment that no one talks about. It happens quietly, maybe after lunch, maybe after a snack. You eat something sweet, just a handful of grapes or a slice of mango. You smile at the taste, at the memory it brings. But not long after, something shifts. You feel heavy, tired, a little bloated, and worse, a little disappointed in yourself, because that moment of sweetness turns into a subtle sadness. It's not just physical, it's emotional. You wanted to do something nice for yourself. You weren't reaching for cookies or chips, just fruit, something natural, something good. But instead of feeling lighter, more energized, you feel like your body betrayed you, or maybe like you betrayed it. This feeling is more common than you think, especially for older adults who are doing everything right and still seeing their belly grow, their energy dip, their hope shrink. The sweetness we were promised, both in flavor and in outcome, now feels like a trick. And here's the truth that brings relief. The problem isn't you. It's the disconnect between what we were taught and what your body actually needs now. Fruit, in small amounts, is fine. But high-sugar fruits like mangoes, grapes, and pineapple, when eaten alone, especially late in the day or after a meal, can tip your insulin into overdrive. The sugar rush feels good for minutes, then your energy plummets. And so begins the cycle. Spike, crash, regret. Over and over. This cycle is silent. It doesn't scream. It whispers, through tiredness, through belly fat, through the soft ache of feeling like you're losing control. And yet you're doing everything with love. Everything with good intentions. That's what makes it hurt the most. But it doesn't have to stay this way. You can still enjoy food. You can still have sweetness, just in a way that honors where your body is now, not where it used to be. Choose fruits with lower sugar like berries. Eat them after a balanced meal, not on an empty stomach. Combine them with something that steadies you, fat, fiber, or protein. Feel the difference. Let your energy guide you. Because the goal isn't to eliminate pleasure. It's to reclaim it. You deserve to eat without guilt. To feel nourished, not punished. To enjoy flavors without fearing their consequences. And you can, once you let go of the old story that fruit is always good, and start writing a new one that fits who you are today. That sadness after sweetness, it's not your failure. It's your body asking you to choose differently. And now, you know how to listen. You probably never thought about the word fructose much. It sounded scientific, distant, something nutritionists debated but everyday people didn't need to worry about. After all, it's just the sugar in fruit, natural, harmless, part of a healthy diet, right? That's what we were told. But as the years passed, something changed. You started gaining weight more easily. Your belly became harder to slim. Your energy dipped after meals that once gave you strength. And no matter how many healthy choices you made, the results felt out of reach. Quietly, you began to wonder if it was just age, just how things were now. The truth is both simpler and more hopeful than that. Fructose, the natural sugar in fruit, was never meant to be consumed in large amounts. In the past, we ate fruit seasonally, in moderation, and always as a whole food. But today, fruit is available year-round, sweeter than ever, and eaten more frequently than our bodies were built to handle, especially after 60. As you age, your body's ability to process fructose weakens. Unlike glucose, which is used by every cell in the body, fructose is processed almost entirely by the liver. And when the liver is overwhelmed by juice, by sweet fruits, by frequent snacking, it begins to convert that excess into fat, visceral fat, the kind that wraps around organs and settles in the belly. This isn't about eating too much. It's about your body trying to protect you in a way that worked when you were younger, but now only holds you back. Fructose also plays another trick. It doesn't trigger the same fullness signals as other foods, so you can eat more without realizing it. You're full, but not satisfied. You crave more, and the spiral continues. No one warned you about this, because most people don't know. Doctors rarely talk about how aging changes sugar metabolism, and most advice about fruit is still aimed at younger bodies, with faster metabolisms and stronger insulin response. But you're not powerless. And your body is not broken. It's just different, smarter in some ways, more sensitive. And that sensitivity, if you honor it, can become your greatest tool. Start by watching how you feel after eating different fruits. Do certain ones leave you tired, bloated, hungrier an hour later? That's your body speaking. Respond gently. Choose fruits with more fiber and less sugar, like blueberries, raspberries, or green apples. Eat them with a handful of nuts, or after a protein-rich meal. This isn't about restriction. It's about recognition. You're learning the language of your own body again. And that language, though quieter now, is full of wisdom, if you're willing to listen. It wasn't an easy decision. For years, these fruits had been part of my routine. They were in my breakfast, in my snacks, in my attempts to stay healthy after retirement. I loved them. I trusted them. But after turning 70, something shifted. My body started giving me signs, subtle at first, then louder, bloating after lunch, fatigue after what should have been a light snack, that soft layer of belly fat that clung on no matter how many walks I took or how early I stopped eating. So I started paying attention. I kept a small notebook. I wrote down how I felt after eating. And slowly I saw the pattern. Here are the 7 fruits I stopped eating and why. Bananas, too much sugar and not enough fiber. Every time I ate one alone, my energy crashed an hour later. Grapes, sweet little sugar bombs. I'd pop them into my mouth thinking they were harmless, but they made my belly feel tight and bloated. Pineapple, delicious, yes, but it spiked my blood sugar and often gave me heartburn. Watermelon, high glycemic and low fiber. I'd feel hungry again so soon after eating it. Mango, a tropical treat I once adored, but now leaves me sluggish and bloated. Dried fruits like raisins or dates, too concentrated in sugar. A handful felt like eating candy. Fruit juices, even the 100% natural ones. Without fiber, they turned straight into fat for me. But I didn't stop eating fruit. I just chose differently and more wisely. Here's what I eat now. Berries, especially blueberries and raspberries. Low in sugar, high in antioxidants, gentle on my system. Green apples, a little tart, full of fiber, and they keep me satisfied without spiking my blood sugar. Avocados, yes, technically a fruit, full of healthy fats that help control hunger and support my heart. Pears, in moderation, especially when paired with nuts to slow absorption. Tomatoes and cucumbers, also fruits, and great in salads that fill me up without dragging me down. The change didn't happen overnight, but within weeks of shifting these habits, the stubborn belly softened. My energy lifted, and for the first time in years, I felt like I was working with my body, not against it. Which of these fruits do you eat most often? Which of these surprised you the most? Share your thoughts below. I read every comment. The goal was never perfection, it was peace. And with every wise choice, that peace gets a little closer.